Now, 1 month ago, the Biden administration called on Israel to allow greater humanitarian access into Gaza. Officials were given a 30-day deadline and a warning that failure to comply could trigger U.S. laws requiring Washington to scale back military support. Now, with that deadline expiring, international aid organizations say conditions are worse now than at any point during the 13-month conflict. We can now bring in Tommaso Della Longa, spokesperson at the International Federation of the Red Cross. Thank you so much for joining us here on France 24 today. What are you hearing from your teams on the ground? Has anything improved over the past month?
So first of all, thanks for having me today. No, nothing has improved, and the situation actually is getting worse minute after minute, day after day. What Palestinian Crescent colleagues are telling us from Gaza is that basically now the focus is in the northern part of Gaza, where access is extremely limited, the movement of people is extremely limited, and even evacuating patients from the north to Gaza City or the south is almost impossible. And we're talking about a situation where there is no access for food, for water, for health support, medicine. So even the few hospitals that are still barely operational don't have anymore the basic to go ahead.
Tommaso, last year we were talking about how Gaza needed about 400 trucks a day of aid to go in. How much aid is Gaza getting today?
Well, a drop in the ocean. We're talking about hundreds of trucks. I can tell you that Palestine Crescent colleagues received in the last, I think, 2 months and a half, less than 100 trucks. So, of course, it's a drop in the ocean. It's not even, of course, it's a positive that still there is a corridor open, but it's not really helpful for the people. And now we're also talking about winter that is almost at our doors, and needs like shelter, mattresses, blankets are really critical and life-saving. And if they're not there, simply people will continue suffering.
And Tommaso, why is the aid not going in? Why is it being stopped? On what grounds?
Well, the situation, it's the bigger picture of this situation is that since the Rafah border has been closed a few months ago, and since the operation of humanitarian aid entering from Egypt to Palestine has been stopped, of course, the number of trucks entering has been very limited. Now, as in every crisis situation, agreements needs to be made between parties to make sure that humanitarian aid will go ahead, but also that there is safe access and safe condition to operate. And this is what is not happening in Gaza at all in the last months, but I would say in the last year.
When you're talking about safe access, are you referring to looting? Because, of course, you said that the aid that has gone in over the past few months has been a drop in the ocean. This, of course, is creating a desperate situation for people on the ground. So I imagine looting is also a problem.
Looting, of course, is part of the problem and is the icon of the desperation of people inside Gaza. But when I'm talking about safe and uninterrupted access, means that we need to be able to enter everywhere in Gaza with a way bigger humanitarian operation. And then we need to create that space where humanitarian workers are safe in doing their work, but also civilians are safe to get what they need. And sadly, it's not happening in Gaza. And the frustrating part for all the humanitarian sector is that there's been an year that we are repeating the same calls, but sadly they are all unheard.
Now, Israel says it's open a fifth border crossing. What do you respond to this?
Well, of course, until when there will be even one border open, it's a positive sign, because it means that there is still a space for some humanitarian aid entering in and for some dialogue between parties. But what we need, it's really an expanded operation inside Gaza Strip. And basically, the bottom line is that we need the conflict to stop. So then we create that safety condition that I was talking before. We can bring, hostages needs to go back home, and people can get what they need. But sadly, we're very far from seeing this in the field.
It does seem so. Let's talk about fuel, Tommaso, because, of course, stockpiles have been limited. Electricity is virtually non-existent in the Gaza Strip. What does this mean for hospitals working on the ground?
Thanks a lot for this question, because fuel in the Gaza Strip, it's really a life-saving items. Fuel for hospital means the difference between life and death of many, if not thousands. Without fuel, generator will not operate, and without generator, there is no surgery, there is no intensive care unit, there is nothing inside an hospital, not even a refrigerator for some medicine, for some vaccines, for some treatments. So without fuel, hospitals will close, and sadly is what we have been seeing again in the last year, because of fuel, because of lack of safety, because of siege around the hospital, because of no medicine entering in and out, no ambulances entering in and out in the hospitals.
Tommaso, thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you.